Dude, I'm driving. I'd finished up my work day. I said, I'm going to the store, pick up a few things. Went to the store, picked up a few things, driving back home. And in the drive back home, it's like your TV, how your TV just kind of flickers. That's how my eyesight did. My eyesight went
Really?
blur. Can't see nothing.
In an instant?
In an instant.
1 minute you fine?
Once, second, I'm fine and driving. And then
Wow.
and I couldn't see.
Hey, it's a great day to change lives. We are back. Another episode of the Instincts Podcast. When I tell you, I got one of my mentors in the building today, I'm excited. He doesn't know the format of the show, so I'm about to go ahead and give it to him. We got Monty Montgomery in the building, man. When I tell you, you are, in my opinion, a library of knowledge. I take it for granted. I should come sit with you every day. But, and we still wouldn't run out of conversation. So what we're going to do is document some of the conversations me and you have behind the scenes and give them just enough to know how important you are to me. Is that cool?
That's cool.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Listen, we always start the show with one question. Actually, two.
Okay.
The show is about overcoming life's trials and tribulations and turning those things into celebrations. People see us today. They think it's always been this way. It hasn't.
Right.
Right. And I want to inspire people and show individuals that we all go through something. It's called life, and it wasn't meant to be easy.
Sure.
So let's talk about the number one thing in life you've had to overcome, and then more importantly, how did you overcome it?
Sure. Well, let me first say, I mean, I know that you really appreciate some of the things that I have to say, but what I have learned over the course of time is truly when it counts, how much I've actually learned from you.
Okay.
Right? And even though I might have started out as the quote unquote person that's sharing a lot, but I just picked up so much, and we'll get into it a little bit later about where it really helped me. So, I all of us have been through a lot of stuff
Yes,
in our lives, Brian, and for me, I thought at one time the biggest challenge that I ever had was when I lost my mom. But I tell you what really hit me hard was when I just recently had a stroke. And I literally felt as though I was going to die. Now, I've been in some close calls in my life.
Absolutely.
Right? I've been in some stuff I probably shouldn't have been in, right?
And we're going to talk about that too. I can't wait.
And had a chance to see a lot of bad things happen close up and personal. But it was not until I was really going through that battle of the stroke that I really came face to face with feeling like I was going to die and thinking about all of the things that I still needed to do, all the things I still wanted to do, the people I was going to leave behind. And so that by far for me has been the biggest challenge that I've ever had.
And let me say this. Most people think we're talking about 20 years ago. Most people right now will look at you today and think we're talking about 5 years ago. As of today's interview, about how long ago was the stroke?
That was truly just about 6 months ago.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
So within the past 6 months, my man suffered a stroke, and you saw your life flash before your eyes, literally.
Absolutely.
Now here's the question. How did you overcome it?
Well, I tell you, in that moment, because it's for me having been, and we'll talk a little bit more about my martial arts background and
Absolutely.
stuff. But being an athlete for most of my life, it was a challenge when I started to not be able to control my body. When I started to lose my eyesight, I lost the ability to control my limbs. I couldn't control my breathing. And so in that moment when I was challenged with all of those things at the same time, I just went back to a place of trying to embrace all that I had learned.
Wow.
And from my martial background, from the spiritual journeys that I had, and then even in my business journeys. And you may think I'm joking, but I'm 100%. In the moment when I started to feel myself, my body just kind of turning against me, what I said to myself was, I didn't say it, but I heard it in my head.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it was funny, because I couldn't even talk.
That's crazy.
Right?
It's
so
crazy.
What I heard in my head was, my body don't tell me what to do. I tell my body what to do.
That's right.
And you know, I got that from you.
Absolutely.
And so when I
That's
talk
crazy.
about when it really counted, right, when I was right there in the fight, that came back to my memory.
Wow.
And then that allowed me to then zero in and focus. And from that point, then I started trying to control my breathing. Because I was having a hard time breathing.
Wow.
Right. And then I started just trying to slow everything down to give my body a chance to reset. And every
It's
tool
amazing.
out of my toolbox. But what triggered it was you in my head from a conversation whenever we had it.
Yeah.
When you said what you said, and that's what I heard.
Man, it's amazing how a person can say one thing to you, like thrust forward when absent.
Yes.
Stick with what comes. Follow what retreats. These are things that I'm gonna have him talk about in the martial arts application. But it's amazing how I said that one thing to you, and in a crisis you applied it. It's crazy. So we gotta be careful. And I tell people all the time, be careful what we say to people, good and bad. It sticks with them. Right. And you want to have a library of references and quotes and philosophies that you can pull from. And you are a philosopher, and by that I mean you've experienced so many things in life. Let's fast forward real quick before we get to the middle. What are you doing now? Let people know what you're doing today, because it amazes me every time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So going back to those lessons that I've learned, I had the opportunity to be mentored by some very phenomenal men in my life, right? And one of those gentlemen was a gentleman by the name of Dr. Sabi. And some of your guests or your listeners may know him, but I had the privilege of working with him for about 5 years.
Absolutely.
And on that journey of health, he taught me so much. And I just started, I said, you know what? The doctor said I have to re-engage this whole idea of being healthy, right? And it wasn't I didn't know what to do, but you start enjoying life and you start,
Slipping.
just kind of out there just living, and you forget about the things that got you there.
Yep.
So that was a time for me to go back. I locked back in. I'm down to eating once a day again.
Are you really?
Yeah, one time a day,
Once a day.
my big meal, and I'm done. I'm getting in copious amounts of water, right? And I'm taking my herbal supplements, and then I make sure that I sleep, and I make sure that I stretch. All the stuff we used to do when we
All
were
the time.
training,
Absolutely.
right? Like, so pre-COVID, COVID really just kind of screwed up a lot of things for a lot of people.
Routines.
But it kind of got us out of our routine, right? So got back into doing those things. I have my 6 o'clock every morning meditation moment. And that's why I try to just reconnect with spirit, reconnect with myself. I get centered, I get focused, and I learn to relax. Don't start my day in a hurry. Don't start my day already revved up, like 100 miles an hour, because that just causes you to burn out over time. And this is one of the lessons that I've learned. So, just re-engaging those principles that help sustain a healthy life and help us to be here on the planet, man.
So we gotta get back to the actual stroke, because I want people to understand the symptoms, the signs. I remember you called me and told me you had to pull over. You know what you wanted to say, but you couldn't say it.
Right.
You know what you wanted to do, but you couldn't do it. We want to give people the signs of a stroke, but I want you to tell people right now. Let me get my cards out for this one. If you had to tell them 3 things right now that you personally or the doctor said you neglected that may have caused you to have that stroke, what do we need to either not neglect or make sure we do? 1.
The biggest thing was not living a balanced life. I was so focused on this whole money chase, right? I had gotten to that point in my life, and it was, things were happening, right? But it's like, the more that was happening, the more I wanted it, because I got bigger dreams and larger things that I wanted to do. So I was so focused on that I cut out my stretching. I cut out walking, just exercising. I started to eat poorly, because it's eating on the run, just picking up this and that, and or I'm eating way late at night because my days are so long, and then you're trying to go to sleep on all this food you just put down, and then you stop taking all of the things, because the reality is this: a lot of the foods that we consume really have very little nutrient value in them whatsoever, and so we're starving our bodies even though we feel full. Right? We're starving our bodies, of the nutrients that it requires.
So 1, is proper eating habits, but also at the right time.
At the right time.
2 is at least, if I heard you correctly, at least stretch and or do some type of physical activity. And people think, Monty, that's running 10 miles and you just need to speed your heart rate up a little bit. Am I right?
You can speed up your heart rate. There are things that I challenge myself to do just sitting at my desk and working. You know, just holding my posture and doing certain breathing exercises that keeps my core toned.
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
And this good posture habit, right, also staves off back problems down the road. Because like you got back problems, so now you don't want to exercise. So you don't exercise, and then you in the bed and you can't sleep well. So you're not getting good sleep. That's the other thing.
That's 3.
Right? You know, so I was notorious. You know, I lay down at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm back up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No sleep.
And I got no sleep. And even while I'm laying down, my mind is still thinking. Because I wake up in the middle of that.
So you're really not resting.
So you're not
resting. You resting, but you're not asleep. Or you sleep, but you're not resting.
Not resting.
So your mind is still working. So nutrition, and it's funny, we all know this, but this episode may just help somebody kick it back in gear. It may help somebody who may be backsliding, who's eating late again. It may help somebody who's waking up stressed first thing in the morning trying to make something happen. It may help somebody who's not getting any sleep. And it's the reality, Monty. It doesn't happen right now. It catches up with you later.
Absolutely.
Like anything.
I mean, when the stroke first happened, I just gotten back from a vacation. I was out sailing on the ocean and just living life, playing golf, enjoying myself. You know, and then when I came back, re-engage back in this grind, right? Out here working hard again. I'm relaxed and charged up. And I know you said we'd get back to it. So in terms of how it really just happened.
Yeah, how'd it happen?
Dude, I'm driving. I'd finished up my work day. I said, I'm going to the store, pick up a few things. Went to the store, picked up a few things, driving back home. And in the drive back home, it's like your TV, how your TV just kind of flickers. That's how my eyesight did. My eyesight went
Really?
blur. Can't see nothing.
In an instant. 1 minute you fine.
Once, second, I'm fine and driving, and then
Wow.
and I couldn't see, and I was like, what? So I could, at least I know I need to slow up,
Right.
And then I just kind of pulled over, and then it started to it would come in focus, then go back up, then I couldn't see again, come back into focus, then everything get blurred, and then it just got to where everything was blurred, and it just kind of held up, and I'm like, what in the world is going on with me? And
conscious enough to know something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I know I need to get home.
Right.
Cause my lady was at the house. I'm like, if I get home, then I got somebody who can take care of me. And so I had to figure out, okay, where am I? I couldn't see. But I can't even tell you how I drove home.
Wait a minute. You did end up driving home.
Yeah. That's and the doctor's
God is
like,
good.
Doctor's like, did you call the ambulance? Yeah, we eventually called the ambulance, but they pick you up. You parked the car. I was like, no, I drove home.
You got home. You felt you got your way home.
I got home.
You ended up seeing snippets or reminders or make a left here, make a right here. Because if you can't see it, it's coming back. Are you seeing in between?
You know what I attribute it to? So got a lot of stuff I used to do in my life. So for 20 years, I was a firefighter and a medic.
Yes, sir.
And so I remember when as a medic, I get a call at 3-4 in the morning, and I'm getting out from a dead sleep, getting dressed, getting in the unit and driving. And when I get there, I couldn't even remember how I got there.
How you got there. So it's kind of, you feeling your way kind of.
So
That's
it
crazy.
was kind of that whole muscle memory thing where I couldn't see it, but I kind of knew I'm on this street. I know this street gonna end on this street, and I need to make a right.
Okay.
And so even though it was blurry, I could still see that I had gotten to the end of the street.
Next, so we get home.
Right.
You still don't know it's a stroke.
I started to feel like it could have been a stroke because when I was getting out of the car, I was starting to have problems.
Mobility.
My mobility. And so I couldn't control my steps. It was like my body was almost like tremors a little bit. So it was starting to shake. Every move I was trying to make was really a struggle to make just the steps. And so So I, because I used to be a medic, I was like, okay, I think I might be having a stroke, right? And so I need to get here. I need to let my lady know, hey, I need to get to the hospital. We need to call an ambulance. And so those things from losing my sight to having trouble with my mobility, and then to getting to the place where, as you were saying earlier, in my mind, I knew what I wanted to say, but when I tried to articulate, when I tried to speak, it would not come out.
Man, that's scary.
And then it would be maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds later, what I was trying to say 45 seconds ago
right,
would
everything's
come
delayed.
out.
Yeah.
And even then, though, it was coming out broken.
Wow.
And so
What's her reaction when you get home?
I think she was like in a little state of shock.
Yeah.
Because she didn't know. She's like, I don't know what's going on with you.
Right.
And her first thing was, well, just lay down. And I was like, I knew to myself, I was like, okay, laying down is not what I need to do.
Yeah.
I don't like most men, we don't really go to doctors a lot. And so it's not like I wanted to go to the doctor.
Oh, we need to
But
go.
I know that when it's time to go, you need to get your butt up.
Right.
Because this is not something I can fix.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I need to get in front of some people who have the capacity, capabilities to make their assessment and do what they need to do. Because I know you only got a window.
That's right.
when you have this stroke. And so we got to the hospital, and and they were able to immediately start to evaluate me, running all these tests, and they were trying to, they came in, they were running physical tests, blood work and all of this stuff. And about an hour or so later came back, the doctor, the neurologist, she said, you had a stroke.
You had a stroke, period,
Yeah.
point blank.
Yeah, and so
Now.
can we keep you tonight? I said, absolutely.
You gonna keep me tonight. I don't care if you don't, that's my orders. So real quick, for a profession, because we got to get into this martial arts thing, and we're gonna save some lives verbally without even doing any demonstrations. What you do for a living now?
Okay, so right now I work as a consultant. I work in the safety and and security space.
Nice.
And so what I do professionally is I work with different companies, mostly right now in the transportation arena.
Okay.
Right, and I evaluate and assess their security profiles, their safety profiles. We want to make sure that they're in compliance. We want to also provide to them our expertise so that they can harden their security and safety, so that they can make sure they have a place where they have fewer incidents,
Yes.
right, that could cost them money, right, or cause their patrons or their employees to be hurt.
So long story short, I know for example, public transportation here in Atlanta is called MARTA. Right. Some area, DC area, MATA, and these different places. So basically, in layman terms, you help big time corporations stay safe from outside and inside threats.
Yes, sir. I look at from aviation, from airlines to transit agencies around the country. I've had the privilege of working on some very large properties,
Right.
to help them just better secure their operations.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, you got in this by, well, I won't, let me not speak for you, but I know 30 years in the martial arts, Wing Chun, a form of Kung Fu, is one of your masteries. Did that help you get into the corporate securities arena?
It's funny. So honestly, that was a bonus when I got it, when I brought those skill sets.
Okay.
They were very happy, but they didn't know. It was honestly my, what they call ICS background, what they call incident command.
Okay.
And so when you have a large scale emergency or incident that happens, like 9/11,
Absolutely.
with the
Terrorists.
planes, terrorist attacks, and years ago when they were having bombings at abortion facilities, and all of those kind of major emergencies, or you have a large scale event like the Olympics that I had a chance to participate in. My command experience, knowing how to manage a large situation and make sure that people stay safe, that was what really kind of catapulted me into this as a profession that I've been doing now since 2000. And I used to tell people, for those that might remember, this little movie years ago by this brother named Wesley Snipes called Passenger 57.
Yes, remember?
Yeah, I was like the real Wesley Snipes, right?
On the planes?
On the planes.
Okay.
You know, but
Air Marshal?
I wasn't an air marshal. I coordinated all of our air marshal flights,
Makes
right?
sense.
And so behind the scenes, I did that coordination, setting that up with the air marshals, internal to the organization. I would do spot checks at different airports around the country. I had 130 something airports that I had to kind of fly through, and so I did that in the airports. I did that, you know, on the grounds, underneath, looking at baggage operations, and then actually on the planes sometimes as well. And it used to be funny because they started to figure out who I was.
Right. You supposed to be incognito.
Yeah, I had to start wearing little disguises, you know, so I could just sit in the airport and observe.
Did you wear a wig at any point?
I wore some dreads. Yeah. I swear.
I can't picture it.
I had some dreads on.
So they wouldn't know who you were. They're not supposed to know that's you.
They weren't.
Let me ask you this, man. They say a true martial artist. This is what I heard in a very, very credible documentary. They say a true martial artist, it can be 50 to 100 men in a room, and they want to attack him, and in his mind, he's going to get out that room alive. Do you feel that way?
Oh yes, sir. I used to always say I'm going home.
You know,
I'm going
50 to
home.
100 men. They say a
Yeah.
true martial artist is like, this ain't no problem.
Yes, sir. So, you know, it's just a mindset, and that mindset, you know, carries over in all aspects of your life. But that mindset says, I'm getting through this,
Right.
whatever this is. You know, if it's one person or if it's 10, 15, 20 people.
Right.
You know, I used to tell people, I said, you know what? Unless you are as big as Shaq, I really don't even think about, you know,
Your
what
side.
it's going to take to go through you. Right? Now, if you Shaq, you're going to make me think about it.
At least think about it, but
I
you're still getting home.
I'm still going home.
Right.
Right. But if you not like Shaq, it ain't even a conversation in my mind
Right.
about what needs to happen,
Right.
you know, for me to get through this situation.
Well, let's talk about it real quick. So, I brought the tall stools so us little guys can can get some height today. But the reason I'm about to ask you this, tell them how tall you are, Monty.
5'5".
Monty's 5'5". Please tell the story. Well, let's go back to the nightclub days real quick. About the guy that was about 6'2", 6'4", and you got all these guys around you that are big, and he acting up, and you with your 5'5" self was like, I got him, don't worry about it, and how you brought him down.
So-
Please tell everybody how you brought the 6'4" down to 5'2".
So that was funny, right? So on this one night, one of my martial art brothers had asked me if I wanted to pick up some extra work, right? So I'm working in the clubs, and this night they tell me to work at the bar because there were people who were trying to get over behind the bar.
Patrons.
So, yeah, patrons. So I'm at the edge of the bar, just kind of posted up there, and this cat comes through. He's about 6'2", easy about 250, and he's talking to the
Bartender?
the bartender. And so the lady's trying to fix his drink, but he ain't really trying to get a drink, right? He's really trying to shoot his shot, and he's
At her?
At her.
Okay.
And he's trying to come around to the back of the bar so he could continue his conversation.
Okay.
And so I'm there, and I was like, "Yo, bro, you can't come back here. This is for employees only."
That's right.
And so fast forward. Not the short version is he looks down at me and say, "Little man," this is what he said, "Little man,
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?" Man, you know, look, I'm trying to talk to this lady, and
Now, you trained to be cool.
yeah, and so it's like, no problem. I've been called little man or worse before. It's not a problem. Don't hurt my ego or nothing. But I'm like, but yeah, brother, so look, you can't come back here. What can I do to help you? You need a drink? I'll even buy you a drink.
There you go.
Right?
Trying to quail it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to talk him down and mitigate the situation. He decides that he wants to kind of,
Touch you.
yeah.
Which is a no-no.
Yeah. And so he reaches out to touch me, and he's touching me in my head, like little man. Little man. Like he's just trying to just
Just mushy.
handle me, right? He's just gonna mush me and move me out the way. And you know, when he did that, all I saw was those ribs. It amazes me when there's this movie that Denzel Washington did called The Equalizer.
Yes.
And whenever he was getting ready to get into a situation, it was like things just slowed down.
Right.
And he starts seeing all the moves that's gonna get made. He know what they gonna do. He know what he's getting ready to do.
Absolutely.
And then bam, comes back and it starts. And it's over in an instant. But at the moment that he did this, everything just slowed down. And I saw that rib cage. It was just right there. You can't miss it.
In 3D.
In 3D. And I went straight into him with an elbow. I tried to just break it. I'm trying, because, you know, these floating ribs here, you know, they really not holding on.
To nothing.
Some of our ribs are attached.
Right.
In the front to the sternum and to the back. But you got some down here that they call floating ribs. And that's the ones I wanted to get, the ones that were floating. And I just gave him a good shot, brother. And people, I mean, he didn't see it. Nobody saw me hit him, but they just saw me go. I went through him, and I came up behind him, did a rear choke. He was done after that.
And he yoked him out.
Yeah.
So you taught me that when you hit this rib, you aiming for this one.
Yes, sir. We trying to go through.
We trying to go through. So all the people out here watching, give you a little martial arts advice for the rest of the show. Monty, what's the psychology of hitting here, but mentally going here? Why is that? I know, but I want you to explain to them the power behind the waist and the thrust.
Yes, sir. So a lot of people hit just to deliver just to make contact, but you want your punch, you want your strike to penetrate, because when it penetrates inside of the body, it starts to affect everything that's inside
in between.
So all of your organs, you know, that's how people get bruised kidneys and bruised livers and all these other things, because you want that energy to go through. And if you're not trained at that, you feel like just making contact was the end goal.
Right.
No, I'm not trying to make the contact here. I'm trying to come through all of that because I want to disrupt. When you're hitting, you want to be a disruptor.
The center. Right.
You know. Right. And then so everything one of my instructors used to say, you want to just shake up his whole foundation.
Ooh, Lord.
So inside of him is just he feeling things. Right.
Right.
And
it's rattling.
Yeah. It's shaking up because that pressure, you know, just causes those things just to not function right.
Right, absolutely.
You know, those muscles are gonna seize, those organs can't move. You know, everything inside our bodies are moving.
Right.
Nothing is static. And when you get that immediate sensation of all of that, everything is disrupted for a moment.
Ooh.
You know, and so that's, you know, that was that intent.
Right.
And so you have to have that intent, you know, in this martial world, but then you apply that to everything else that you do, Brian. And I applaud you because I see you do that in everything that I've seen you do. You put everything into it.
Same
right?
thing.
And it's not just, hey, I want to do this and talk about it but no, we see I had the privilege from behind the scenes to see all of the work that you put into things, all of the thought that you put into things and the focus. And so whatever it is that we're going after, right, it's that focused intent, you know, that yields the best results.
Awesome. So, okay, there's some people watching right now. They're getting a little excited. They want to know some more martial arts tips. If you had to give us 3 or 4 preventive measures, right? Let's help some people understand that when you get into martial arts, the goal is hopefully never to have to use it.
Absolutely.
It just gives you some serious confidence. And I want to talk about one more incident where you did use it. But let's do some preventive measures. What are some common mistakes people make in this self-defense game?
I think the biggest mistake that people make, and I even had to have this conversation with my daughter, is a loss of situational awareness.
Yes.
You know, it's like a lot of times people just kind of go about their business and they feel like as long as they are minding their business, they're not concerned about anything else around them.
And
right?
You gotta be.
And so you have to have situational awareness in all that you're doing anytime you're out and about, right? And that gives you the opportunity to avoid, a situation where you're not the victim.
So let's define situational awareness.
Right.
In the parking lot, the most Oh, goodness. One of the things people kill me doing. Keys not out your purse, ladies. You fumbling through it, looking down. You're on your phone while you do it. When you say situational awareness, define that for people.
Yes, sir. It is all those things, Brian. You're thinking 2 to 3 steps ahead. You know that when you get to your car, you need to unlock your car. Right. And if you don't have a car that has the capability of the touch unlock or
Remote.
on the door handle, then you should have the key fob at least in your hand before you get to the car. You shouldn't have to look for it once you get there.
Right.
Because it's in that moment that you create a window for the person who's may have some intent to hurt you, to seize that opportunity.
Situational awareness. Just knowing.
And here's another one, B, even before you go, right? When you get to the parking lot, park, if you know that when you come out it's gonna be dark, park where you know that there are lights.
Period.
Park where you see other cars.
Right.
So that you're not in an isolated, place that has poor lighting, and now you got to traverse through that environment by yourself.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
So it starts with one of my teachers on this spiritual journey. He used to tell me, you want to start with the end in mind, right? And so if I know when I'm getting ready to go there, then I do that on the front. And here's the crazy thing. I'm a seasoned martial artist. There used to be days that I'd love to be able to get into a fight. But, now I'm just I just want to have peace.
Get home.
I just want to be able to live my life.
Right.
And so these same things that we're talking about, these are things that I do.
Right, absolutely.
Every time.
Still.
And like my lady, she says, why do you always back in? It used to freak her out in the beginning. She's like, is this something I need to know? You got some folks looking at
you got to hurry up and get out.
I'm like, no, I always start with the end in mind.
That's right.
I don't want to have to be in a situation where I got to back out in a rush.
Got you.
Right? I can go forward in a rush if I need to.
Okay.
So I'm going to take my time while I'm inside this vehicle to back in like I need to. Right?
Okay. So let's give them a framework. We got situational awareness. All right. So that's the first thing, is making sure that the predator does not see that you are the easiest prey. That's number one. That's for ladies and gentlemen, period.
Right.
Let's talk to young men real quick, hotheads. Talk about how this mouthpiece and getting out of situations or not wanting to even get into a situation. Let's prevent some teenagers from getting into things they ain't got no business getting into.
Yes, sir. So
what is that? So situational awareness is number one.
Number one. And number two is de-escalation.
De-escalation. Thank you.
And so by that, some of the easiest things that we can do to de-escalate is to simply walk away.
Monty, why is that so hard? But for people, why is it so hard for them to they feel punked?
They feel punked. They feel like it's ego, right? And ego gets in the way, right? But I used to, when we trained with all my students, I would tell them, I was like, the fight doesn't start until you get into hitting range.
That's right.
If we are 6 feet, 5 feet away, I can't touch you, you can't touch me, it's just a conversation, right? And conversations ain't never hurt nobody, right? And so we can walk away from conversations. That's the first de-escalation, effort that everybody can employ. The second de-escalation is simply, hey, you know what? Just let them win. Because if it means that much to you, you know what? You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
It ain't that serious.
It ain't that serious
Right.
to me.
Right.
Right. And so, you know what? And saying that, allowing someone else to win, sometimes it helps them to keep their ego intact.
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
And if they could walk away with their ego intact,
and you can get home.
It
was a win-win.
It's a win-win. Right? And so de-escalation through just letting them win, through just understanding that you can walk away, and then the third thing, Brian, is just to try to talk the situation down. So if you first just let them have it, I mean, if you can't walk away, then you say you got it, just let them win. And if you can't do that, then you can talk it down, brother. You know what? I didn't come here to have this situation with you. I'm trying to have a good time just like you are.
Got you.
Right? I want to go home to my family just like I know you want to go home with your family. You know what? And so can we just have some peace? It's crazy. I was just at the Home Depot today. This lady is going off in the parking lot.
Okay, I thought she meant with you.
Not with me.
Okay. I thought we were about to get another story. Okay, good. But she going off on somebody.
She's going off on the other lady. So this lady gets out, hits the car of the lady who she's parked next to.
Right.
And then the lady responds to that. And she just starts to cuss. Well, I didn't mean it. Blah, blah, blah. All these explicatives. And I was like, it's two older black ladies that should have known better. And I'm like, sisters, can't we just acknowledge the fact that you just did it and say, I'm sorry, and it's over.
It's over.
It don't even have to be beef.
Yeah.
I'm like, sisters, why we just can't have love in these situations? She knows you didn't mean to do it.
Right. Emotions.
But the fact that you don't even acknowledge that you did it, made her feel some kind of way, like you don't care about her property.
Right.
So I was just trying to share that in that moment.
Absolutely.
Just today, this morning. Can't we just talk it down?
So we're talking about de-escalation.
Sure.
And we're talking about talking yourself down.
Right.
Right. You told me about an incident. And believe it or not, I live by this to this day. You're, I think, getting on the MARTA train, and you felt the energy. And I want to talk to people about energy. You felt the energy of some guys, or maybe one guy, that you felt like may be trying to rob you. And you went on purpose all the way and walked to the last train. Because if he follows you way down here, when all of these carts are right here, now we know something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And the mindset of a person that's saying, look, I feel some heat, I feel some energy. Let me just test it real quick. Let me walk way down here. Now I remember you telling me, I'd never forget. Now if he come way down here, I swear to God. And my point is, your antennas were up enough to know to do something to either confirm your belief or bring some attention to it.
Sure.
Now, everybody don't have the confidence that if he walked down here, I swear to God, you're ready for him. Mm-hmm. What can a person do? What should a young lady do if they feel somewhat threatened? Because I see people all the time that they don't follow their instincts. Right. And that's what the show is all about. They don't follow their instincts.
So the biggest mistake that I think people do, and even what I did in that moment, Brian, was you have to confront your aggressor or attacker, but you do it just visually. And so I needed him to know that I saw him.
There you go.
Right?
Interrupt the flow.
So I'm doing my thing, trying to mind my business. But when I felt what I felt, I needed him to know. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I need you to know that I see you.
That's right.
And I'm not asleep. Right? You need to know that I see you and I feel that, right? Okay, so we make eye contact. And people, a lot of times, what people don't know, ladies especially, but when you avoid eye contact, that makes the aggressor, the perpetrator, even more intent on, because they feel like you're scared, right? And so you need to know, I see you and I'm not scared of you, right? And so that happened, and then I proceed to just move away, which is the first de-escalation thing that we talked about, right? I need to try to walk away. But if the attack is coming, it's not like I'm going to be sitting here like I don't know it's coming.
Absolutely.
I need you to know that I know what you're thinking about trying to do. And I had a situation with my daughter. We walking down the sidewalk going to a mall, and this guy looked like maybe he was homeless. He was posted up at the front of the building, and when he saw us, he started to walk toward us. I just saw him from afar, just trying to hit everybody that came past him
for money.
For money and stuff. Okay. So then he starts to walk toward us, and then he's acting a little agitated. My daughter is on her phone the whole time. She head down, walking, purse on the outside of her body, right? So if he wanted to just come down, he could grab it.
Absolutely.
I'm like, you walking with someone, at least move your purse to the inside.
Gotcha.
Right? Put it on this arm.
Between us.
Right. And then, but she's just walking. So as we're walking, he starts to favor her outside.
Mm-hmm.
And so all I did was I just grabbed her arm and say, Zori, come here, tell me something. And I moved her to me.
Mm.
And after I moved her to me, then what I did was what I told you I did on the train. I looked at him
Mm-hmm.
to let him know that I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I see you, and you need to know that I see you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now my daughter's behind me. At that point, he just started yelling. You know, he's walking. People always thinking, blah, blah, blah. Bruh, say what you want. Game, peep game, I know this. I know what you were getting ready to do. You know, peep you.
He even started speaking about it.
Yeah, so he mad now because I done peeped his card, knowing that, so having that awareness, letting people know that you see them, and then you start those de-escalation efforts. But at the, you know, like I used to talk about in our training, like I said, back to the other story, had he come down, you know, outside of this is conversation, but when you get in the hitting range, so had he intentionally followed me to the last train, then it's like, okay, let me go on. Let me put my little stuff together
And
sit
get
this
ready.
stuff down because we finna go on. And at that point, I'm not even waiting. All I need for him to do is to get in the hitting range. I would have hit him first.
Because at this point, you've done all your checkpoints that says he not coming down here to talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's too many trains, and I want people to get, it's too many trains he could have gotten on to be trying to get on yours and have a discussion.
Right.
Period. All right. Let's talk to the ladies one more time. Ladies always feel like, she grabbed my hair. What do I do if this? What do I do if that? What do we do if this? We can't do any Marshall application today, but what should ladies be aware of from other wild ass ladies?
I tell ladies, I tell men this too, but ladies in particular, whenever our natural tendency, whenever we feel attacked, is to pull away, right? But if someone has your hair, it is hard for you to pull away.
Absolutely.
Right.
Without hurting yourself.
Right, because if they control your head, they control the rest of your body.
Absolutely.
The rest of your body gonna go wherever they move your head.
Absolutely.
Right? And so what I tell people is that you have to go against that natural tendency to pull away. You get close. If you want to pull me to you,
I'm coming.
then I'm coming. But when you come, you got to bring a gift.
So since you want me, you're gonna get we should say all of me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So when you show up with some stuff.
Yep.
You got groceries, you got elbows, you got knees, right? You got eye strikes, you got a whole lot of stuff, right? That you can do.
Oh my goodness,
Right?
the throat.
You can just gouge the eyes, hit the nose. You can stick your finger in the corner of his mouth and just rip it
Right. Out.
out.
Yeah.
This tears.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
all the way back like the Joker.
just like the Joker.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a myriad of things that you could do, but the natural tendency is just to jerk away. And when you jerk away, you just give them more control. Right? So
Gotcha.
so ladies, always remember, if they want to pull you close, just bring some groceries with you, right? You got to bring something to the party since you didn't know it was a party.
Absolutely.
But since you just got this last minute invite, right? Then you just got to bring what you got.
Got you. So I brought the tiger here today as we close for a reason. My white tiger.
I love this tiger.
I love this tiger, man. You know, it's called the Instincts Podcast. So I got my new props. I wanted to bring one of my props out today. Now, before we go, Kung Fu has 5 animals?
No, there are a myriad of animals in Kung Fu.
More than 5 for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's give them 5 quick ones and the philosophy behind each one. Let's start with the tiger.
So,
what does a tiger do? What does a mantis do? What are the principles behind each one so
Right.
people can understand that we are the highest form of intelligence on the planet and we need to tap into some of these bad boys?
tigers instinctively know that because they're such big animals, that if they have an opportunity to kill a prey, that they have to go at it, because if they miss it, they may not eat for a while.
One shot, one kill.
Right? And so a tiger's instinctive notion is to hit with its full force. It doesn't care if it's a gazelle or if it's a rabbit. It's gonna hit it with the same amount of power, right? It doesn't, that's all it knows, 100%. It's gonna give you everything it's got.
And in life?
And yeah, and so the same thing we were just talking about.
There you go.
You gotta approach life that same way, right? That principle of giving it all you got, because you may not get another shot at it. That's the attitude and the philosophy behind
Of
the
a tiger.
style, and how it works in real life and how you use it in martial arts.
The tiger also, is it the tiger that hits with the palm, rip,
Yeah, it
palm, rip?
It's giving you everything it's got. So the palm, the hit with the palm brings the force of the weight and the size of the tiger onto that until it's prey, right? But then once it hits you, because in martial arts we talk about you take away 3 things for people, and then that helps you to win the fight.
Let's give them
you
3.
You take away their eyesight,
Gone.
You take away their breathing,
gone.
And you take away their ability to stand,
gone.
Right. So when the tiger hits you with its full weight of its paws, that's disrupting your ability to stand. Now that it's got you focused on just trying to stand up, now it grabs you with the claws, and then it rips.
Got you.
Right? And so you get that 2 for 1. But it attacks your ability to stand.
Mantis
has this idea of understanding that before it can get to the center of a thing, it attacks and destroys everything around it. And so in practical terms, what that means, if a mantis is attacking another animal, it will first attack the limbs, whatever the animal presents. So if you present a limb, it's going to take that and it's going to break it. Right? You attack another, you throw another leg out, it's going to catch that. It's going to break it or maim it, right? And so when it attacks and breaks or maims the limbs, then guess what? Now your ability to stand or to fight back is diminished greatly. And at that point, it just goes in for the kill. Now it attacks the body because you have no way to defend.
Serpent.
The serpent we deal with the snake. Well, there's 2 concepts. You got the snake and then you got the dragon. But I deal with the snake. The snake, just like it does in real life, it tries to attack you at angles. And so when you see a cobra and when it raises up into a fighting position, it's trying to do this at you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not going to always come at you straight, right? It's trying to angle in at you, right? And so that's that snake style. It goes around in martial terms, we say snakes go around hardness, right? It's not a very big or strong animal, although there are some big snakes out there, but it's not going to hit you and knock you over with its force of its power like a tiger would.
Absolutely.
Right? And so if you're a big animal coming toward it, it goes around that and makes it strike.
Gotcha.
Right?
The eagle.
Eagle. Oh, boy. There are a lot of things about the eagle. Certainly, first of all, it's just a testament to the ability to see things from afar. Right? And so it knows when a situation's getting ready to happen. Like the train, you go into the light. I'm trying to get as much distance, but the eagle already. Oh, I see you, and it's coming in.
Gotcha.
Right, it locks in from a long. It knew it was going to get you for dinner a long time ago. Right, so you got that long range focus. That's one thing of an eagle. But the other thing is, in a martial terms, eagles, although their beaks are powerful, their talons and their legs are the most powerful parts in terms of fighting, and so they can grab with their talons and just mobilize you, right?
Wow.
I mean, I've seen eagles in documentaries just pick up
a goat
or a lamb that's like on the side of a mountain,
Yeah.
right? Just lift it up and then drop it, right? And then it lets gravity to deal with the rest of it,
Wow.
right? But the talons are what they are known for. They have piercing power. Their talons have piercing power. And so when we do strikes like an eagle claw, right, we want to hit, but we have pierce. We pierce. And that's that whole idea of going deep into a thing.
Love it.
Right?
Love
and so if you grab someone's arm with an eagle claw, they don't mind that you want to pull away. They want you to pull away, but they're going to rip
on the way
everything on the way out that you're yanking back. So you, in effect, hurt yourself when they apply that eagle claw
and you pull.
And you pull away. Eagle claw to the neck, same thing. So it attacks soft tissue and it penetrates.
Well, man, all I got to tell you is this. You a bad man.
Man.
If it's 100 men in the room, we getting out of there.
Yes, sir. We going home, bro. And all of those things, man. It just brings me back full circle to I am just beyond impressed at how you can take those ideas and concepts of martial arts and you apply them to your business.
Absolutely.
It helps you to stay consistent. I just see you and I marvel at how you've been able to apply those things. And so you guys are just a testimony for me and a reminder. You know what? Stay focused on your basics. Keep those principles always a part of everything you do. And it's going to help us to kind of stay here on the planet, man. So I count it a privilege to be here with you, brother. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, it's a great day to change lives. Y'all already know, man, this episode was sponsored by Monetize Your Message. We believe that your story belongs to you, but your message belongs to the world. This is Monty Montgomery, 30 years in the martial arts game.
My man.
I don't know how many years on the planet, but you look good, man, and ain't no